which will take us into our Tier 1 games. We're going to start with Neblime versus Napoleon. Jumping up here now to the 1650 plus MMR level. And in the top right-hand corner, as the purple Terran, we have DST's Napoleon. And in the top left-hand corner, as the red Terran, we have Neblime. So, what to say about this? Well, DST Napoleon is a long-term fixture of these leagues. Been playing him for quite some time. Solid player. I want to say I would venture, unless he's really improved a lot from what I remember of Napoleon, I would peg him at probably low B. 1650, 1700 type range. And Neblime, yesterday we saw him take out Dark Matter rather convincingly with some very nice play. So, from what I saw, I think Neblime is probably the favored player in this matchup, unless Napoleon is very, very improved over the past, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, 6 to 9 months. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this matchup. Napoleon and Dark Matter played the game of the week at the very least yesterday in our cast. Fantastic TVT between the two of them. Maybe not 100% high level, as that goes without saying, but in terms of quality of action, the decisions were pretty good. It was basically non-stop action. It was a very good TVT. Dark Matter being relentlessly aggressive. Alright, we're going to get barracks here from Napoleon in a nice spot here for quick floating out. And Neblime actually putting his barracks in a more kind of traditional, conservative, I don't know what to call it, location. But, just putting it there. So we'll be a little bit faster of a scout here for Napoleon. I like his barracks position better, for lack of a better way of saying it. Where you place that barracks, that makes like a 10-15 second scouting difference. That's respectable. It's respectable. And gas here for Napoleon. No gas from Neblime, huh? So Rax FE from Neblime. And factory from Napoleon here. So we have already a deviation in the build lines. And we see a command center being dropped. No surprises there. No Marine yet, though. A little bit of a skirmish down here. Who's got the better of it? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh! Neblime! Neblime loses his SCV. Napoleon gets a kill. So advantage Napoleon, and Napoleon is actually going to continue the aggression here against Neblime's SCV. But Neblime's going to pull it, go for a hit, go for another hit. Okay. Well, Napoleon is being very aggressive. He's getting some pretty good denial on the CC, though, and finally loses his SCV, though. Is he scouting with another SCV? Oh no, he's sending a Marine across. Okay, but there's a Marine out from Neblime. So, yeah, as long as Neblime stands in good position and doesn't do anything silly, he should get the first hit and be just fine. And of course, there's a bunker going up here also for Neblime, so that'll take care of any potential harassment from DST Napoleon, who has started his factory, it would appear. And Napoleon getting his gas up, and then we should see 2 factories coming down in fairly short order here. And also out to build his command center. Just going to go for that vulture, which makes sense. Want to get that nice solid command center timing. If you're already up against a 15 or a rack CC, want to get that eco up and running as quickly as possible. And what do we have coming across the map here? A couple vultures? A couple SCV. Huh. I don't know what the SCVs are for. I have no idea what the SCVs are for. First factory starts here for Neblime. Looks like the SCVs have been turned around. Maybe he was... I don't know. I would assume he would not be expecting to even think he could bunker rush. Because as far as I know in TVT, you almost always build a bunker if you're going to Rax FE. So I don't know why the SCVs were brought across the map. And, okay, so pretty fast second factory here for Napoleon. Neblime not rushing that out. In fact, he did opt to go for the fast engineering bay, perhaps on account of the possibility of wraiths. Doesn't want to lose a bunch of SCVs if a wraith shows up. Neither play. Wait, no, Napoleon. Wait, what? Where'd the barracks go? Oh, it's just over the CC. Alright, so Napoleon has lifted his barracks to scout. Neblime is not, because he doesn't have any units. And he's got to keep the barracks there in case of, like, vulture run-bys. Doesn't need to have anything racing into his main base where he doesn't have any units and can't defend with the bunker. Like mostly vultures getting speed, so yeah, Napoleon's definitely thinking map control with vultures and possible run by here. No sign of a starport, and it looks like he's actually positioned to make another factory. So perhaps on the aggressive side here for Napoleon. We only have the second factory starting or finishing right about now for Neblime, and also being forced to get a pretty fast academy. So he doesn't know what to prepare for, so he's having to get a lot of other buildings, and that's really slowing down his unit count. In fact, we can see his unit count at 545 is 2 Marines, has yet to have even a tank come out. First tank is finally going to be out, but lots of vultures done here for Napoleon, and definitely offering some aggressive potential, certainly map control, but possibly some aggression here, depending on what happens. All right, vultures are going for it. SCVs, oh, sick is blocked by Neblime. He's actually going for the bunker. This can't. Well, there's only 1 Marine. Never mind. Okay, I can see why you'd go for the bunker. But now there's a tank out, and there's a full wall, so I should probably back up. I think he's traded a little too... Oh, there were 2 Marines in there. Never mind. I think he traded a little too much to go for that single bunker. It's probably not the best choice, but wow, Neblime, what a baller wall. What a baller wall. He saw that run by coming, and he was like, no, absolutely not. Just go away. But the spotter barracks are arriving now here for Napoleon. He sees that Neblime is basically gone for everything. And now that Neblime is basically stabilized, now he still has to be maybe a little bit worried about vultures, but Napoleon threw away quite a few vultures. Now we'll see if Napoleon goes for something crazy here with mines. But now that Neblime has gotten in all this tech, gotten in all his buildings, he's got scans. You know, he's got a lot of advantages over Napoleon at this point. Until he gets a run by in. I don't know how. Oh, actually, these vultures are very softened up though. This should not actually kill that much. Maybe if he micros it really well, he'll get like 3 or 4 kills. He's got 3 so far. That one goes down. Will this one be able to get any more kills? Probably not. Looks like it just needs 1 more tank shot. So it's taken care of. And Napoleon doesn't get a lot of mileage out of either of those vultures. Continuing to have rather high supply, given his nothing but vulture production. Vultures will supply you up really high. Oh wow, we got tanks fighting vultures here in the center of the map as Neblime hunts map position and now has to micro back from these mines. Oh, Napoleon's laying some pretty good ones here, but the micro from Neblime has been pretty sharp up until he... Holy shit. Ah! I mean, that wasn't badly done, but oh no, oh no. Oh dear, okay. He's working his way towards the front. Neblime says, I want the contain. Give me the contain, boy. Give me the contain. I want your natural. I'm coming for you. I'm coming down on your natural. And he's taking a 3rd base behind us. +1 is started. Those SCVs are just... I don't know what they're doing. Well, they've been sorted out now. And so Neblime has a very soft contain here of the natural, of the bridges here of Napoleon. Of course, Napoleon's spotter barracks is seeing this. Oh, no, so Napoleon going for the break, trying to use the vultures, trying to get in there with some mines. See how the targeting is. The siege tank will certainly go down, but a lot of mines have been laid, and I think they're good enough mines to actually eliminate all 3 of the tanks. So, you know, that's why I call it a soft contain. Those tanks needed a little bit more support to not get broken up by those vultures, and Napoleon handles that very well. So again, Napoleon's still holding that supply lead. He is beginning to make a few more tanks now, but still prioritizing primarily vultures out of these factories. And now coming across the map with a few more tanks and vultures. 3rd base is up, being defended by 2 tanks from Neblime. And of course, you know, the fact that Neblime wasn't able to take map control was pretty important for Napoleon, because Napoleon is the slower expander. He's the guy that is going much more for vultures, which is supposed to be... And the whole big part of the reason why you play it is for map control. And so if he immediately has to cede map control, despite doing something that's designed to give him map control, that's not the start he wants. But now we see a little bit more robust army moving out from Neblime, already switching into some Goliaths. And a little transfer of SCVs coming over, so that third base is online very fast. So really, Napoleon here is in a kind of must-do position here, because Neblime already took a fast base. He's got a decent number of factories. He's got that third base up. These vultures are trying to lay some amazing mines, and they are getting some mine hits, but the target firing seems pretty good here. But he does pick off a few more tanks, so Napoleon is getting good mileage out of his stuff. However, he's not added his factories fast enough, and he hasn't. Well, actually, he has expanded. He just hasn't added factories enough. He just doesn't have enough production right now. And it looks like Neblime continues forward on the map, but oh my god, he's walking into a lot of mines. The map is a dangerous place to be right now with all these vultures. Just one tank sitting out here, which is obviously easily killed here. Oh man, be careful. Alright, so a second tank sieging up from Napoleon. Scans going down on both players' army just to get an idea of what is out there. We can see 6 fact, make that 7 fact here from Neblime. +1 is done. Of course, the big question here is +2. Huge upgrade advantage for Neblime. Woof. Woof. Napoleon, has Napoleon even started a +1? Oh. Oh god. Oh god, I'm pretty scared now. And it looks like Neblime is also marching out across the map. Looks like the advantage from Neblime's initial base is starting to steamroll a bit. And if he starts that +2 upgrade with any sort of crispness, it's going to be just a ridiculous upgrade window here. Like a full 2 or 3 minutes where Neblime is going to have +2 and Napoleon is going to be playing without +2. Looks like with some position set up on the map, Neblime is going to come on down here and take a 4th base. Napoleon has floated out his 3rd base, but Neblime's sitting in good shape here. Doesn't quite want to walk in on this position. And we do see a drop ship here from Napoleon with that starport. And +2 has started. Napoleon has not started upgrading at all. Oh my god. This is going to be such a big upgrade window. These tanks are going to be so strong. For those of you that don't know, if you have +2 on siege tanks, no matter what armor they have, 1, 2, or 3, or 0, the +2 attack will allow tanks to 2-shot other tanks. So in these tank versus tank fights like you see in TVT, makes an incredible amount of difference. Oh, Napoleon's moving forward. Neblime actually only having 3 tanks here, so with plenty of mines, this should get broken up in fairly short order. Okay. Oh, wow. Actually, that went way better than I thought. But the vultures are able to circle back for that tank, and that's going to force Neblime to bring everything back up here towards the top. And we do see some vulture harass threatening on the other side from Napoleon. Napoleon's still holding on to some pretty good supply, in all honesty, and now his 3rd base has kicked in. He has started taking that 3rd gas, so this is still okay for Napoleon in certain ways. That's a big SCV pull because... Oh, transfer. We missed a drop. Whoops. Whoops. So Napoleon really just setting up his tank lines here. So is Neblime, and this game might be headed long. Now, this window for Napoleon here, with or for Neblime with the +2. My God, Napoleon, come on, bro, get an upgrade. It's gonna be like 5-6 minutes. Neblime is gonna have some beautiful tanks this game. He's gonna have some very nice engagements. Okay, so Neblime's coming up here, clearing out Napoleon's attempt to take this base. And of course, Neblime has not taken the gas, surprisingly. It does have his 4th base up and running. And finally, for the first time, the supply for Neblime looks like it's going to move ahead of Napoleon. Napoleon had been holding down nice high supply for quite some time, but now we've kind of equalized it back out a bit. And a Wraith coming over here, since that turret has been denied. Pew pew. Okay, so Goliath coming out to stop that. Napoleon still hasn't started an upgrade. +2 is like on the verge of finishing here for Neblime. And it looks like we have some tanks and vultures coming around the bottom, but there are tanks and Goliaths down here for Neblime. Now, it'd be more common to see them set up in something of a defensive position down here. And that +2 is now kicked in with 0 for Napoleon. Mine's getting cleared off, and Neblime will retreat back and then probably siege up. Or maybe not siege up, as case might be. Someday Napoleon's going to start an upgrade. I really hope he will. I really hope he will. And siege tanks coming on down here for Neblime. And another base. So Neblime getting his 5th. He's taking that 4th gas. Napoleon is expanding to the bottom right. And now Neblime coming in here. Easily going to clean this up. Goes without saying. It's just 2 tanks. Wraith even added a little damage. Napoleon trying to get back down here. But Neblime looks like he wants to choke out both sides of the map. Gain control sort of the 6 o'clock area here with his tank lines. Is he moving forward a little too far? Probably needs to inch back towards his tanks. Or, I guess, just siege up. But these tanks, I don't know if they're going to offer the mileage he wants against the vultures. But remember, these are 2-shotting tanks rather than 3-shotting tanks, given their power. But whoa, nice shots there from Napoleon. Neblime, again, had a little bit of trouble with his sieging. Okay, Napoleon finally starts +1. It starts at like 15 minutes. +3 on the way here for Neblime. And yeah, I mean, both players, honestly, this looks pretty decent from both players. Seeing a bunch of tanks, 4-shot tanks, no surprises there. If you can make a lot of tanks, no reason not to. Perhaps the one surprise is that Neblime is just 1 armory trucking. I mean, yeah, armor isn't as powerful in TVT, but it's not like armor is a bad thing. And we'll see if Napoleon's going to drop 1 or 2 more command centers, really get on those gas, try to equalize the game that way. Neblime has a few units sitting up here, kind of a weird position. You'd probably want to have like tank, if you were going to keep a nice strong line. But it looks like where Neblime wants to focus is on this underside here. See if he can break in and take out and section off this part of the map here for Napoleon. But we are also getting a few more units coming out over here. Again, we don't see any dropships being made. Napoleon has 1, but mostly he's just making a few wraiths from that starport. And it looks like we have the map mostly split up now. Pretty even position. So Neblime will start to lose some of his advantage. It looks like, oh, someone's going to start some dropships. Napoleon is going to start some dropships. Actually, already made 2. So we'll see if that gives Napoleon an edge here. Neblime has not been able to edge out Napoleon's map position yet. We can see that's an odd pile of units at a base down here. Wonder if he's trying to do something weird where he sneaks by. Won't be able to, that's for sure. And what's that? 8 facts? 8 facts. And a few more dropships. Science facility. Whoa! Super Wraith transition coming in here for Napoleon. Napoleon is obviously going to go heavy for it, but we got a lot of Goliaths being produced, and we generally have, so Neblime is going to have pretty good Goliaths. The main thing he'll just need to do is add a few turrets to some of his bases, maybe some of his siege lines and stuff like that. Quite a few units here at the bottom for Neblime now moving forward, and he's charging in, going for it. Remember, Neblime does have +2 if he can get sieged up here, so his tanks are much more effective, much more powerful than are the tanks of Napoleon. And Neblime is going to go ahead and break through right now. Scan going down to clear out those mines. No tanks over here. So that cuts off Napoleon here from the bottom position and gives access to this base and the relatively important 4th gas, although Napoleon is mining it with only 1. And oh man, probably should pull the Goliaths back, but remember this tank difference. Napoleon, how quickly did he start his +2? Fairly quickly, but he's got a long time before he has +2 of his own here. And so the Goliaths are going to come in here, and that's going to spell the end for the CC, unless Napoleon can get a dropship cluster down there very quickly, which he might be able to do. Now let's see if he prioritizes going for the tanks or saving the base. It looks like he is going to prioritize saving the base. So the Goliath's coming in here. Let's see how many SCVs he kills. Whoa! Oh no, I know what Neblime wants to do. He wants to try to shoot down the dropships. Ah, Neblime! Does he have range? I don't think he has range. His Goliath behaved really weird. Yeah, he didn't have range. Oh, man. Alright, so that's really unfortunate for Neblime. It looked like he was going to get one or two of those dropships and possibly just shut the whole thing down. But no range, so clutch move here, saves it. And now Neblime is going to swing over here to 6 o'clock. And looks like he's going to do this just by sieging. Always a little tricky to get up this ramp, but walking a few Goliaths up here, and he's going to clean that up. But Napoleon does hold on to his base. He did lose the gas over here, though. So that's a bit of a loss. Napoleon trying to do this big Wraith transition, but he's only being able to work off of 3 gases right now. Yeah, the upgrades. Yeah, we've mentioned that stardom. Napoleon really held off on his upgrades. And actually, this base now up and running here for Neblime as well. Should take the gas, but doing pretty well. Could probably start adding some fat, or doing this. Okay. Are we going to go for... I don't know if that's Wraith armor or tank armor. I think that's Wraith armor, right? Although that would be weird too. You'd think you'd want to get weapons more than you'd want to get armor against charm boosters. Oh well, we got a bunch of... oh yeah, it is Terran... it's Wraith armor that he's going for. Is that kosher? Like, is that kosher? Is that what you're supposed to do? Or is he just going for armor? Like, I feel like against charm boosters, like, they do like 20 damage, right? So, like, -1 off that is like a 5% damage reduction. But if you get +1 attack, then you're doing 8 + 1, you're doing 9. Wraith's going in for the turret. Okay, they get the turret. But some units here coming down from Napoleon, finishing out the last of those tanks, and gonna go to work here. Gonna pick off a few tanks, so... We've got equal counts, and first shot goes, I think, to Napoleon, and he's gonna force a run here from Neblime, who is, yeah, taking some damage, but there are Goliaths here, so that's gonna force a retreat. And the 6 and the 12 now both owned by Neblime. If the game goes really long for split map, it's looking pretty nice for Neblime, but he has actually no defenses over here. We saw obviously the drop earlier did kill out some of those defenses. Need to get a few more tanks back into that. Sometimes I research that. Oh yeah. That's why you should, probably the best is to try to always just use the hotkeys. Then it's harder to fuck up. The only one you can fuck up, I remember, as Protoss is S and A for goon range, and for air armor, it's S for singularity charge and A for armor. So like, if you hit S and miss, oh, that's going to be a lot of Wraiths. These Wraiths are putting out a hell of a lot of DPS here. Doing some work. It looks like Napoleon's got to bring some stuff down. He's coming up over here with his Wraiths. Oh, it's going to be tight though. Turrets going up like mad, but I think the Wraiths are going to fly in here. But at the same time, this base is kind of like fledgling base. A few of these turrets are going to finish. Now there's probably enough Wraith muscle to kill them. Although if repair goes down, Napoleon is losing almost all of his Wraiths. Turrets are pretty strong against Wraiths. Wraiths just don't have enough staying power. Oh, no, siege! Neblime, siege! Okay, Neblime does get sieged up. So that's probably going to spell the end of those forces for Napoleon, and also the end of this base, and that is probably about it, in all honesty. Napoleon needed that base. He's now on a mining out third base here. He's just sending stuff in here to these +2 tanks, unsieged. He might eventually get in here, but he's lost all the SCVs. The command center looks like it might not go down, but look how many Goliaths are left alive. Honestly, that can just be killed by those Wraiths. It's not that many Goliaths. The command center actually falls. He could just eat this up, and there we go. GG is called. The tipping point is reached, and Neblime takes the first game against Napoleon. I did feel like he was the favored player, and he lives up to that in this match, just kind of outplaying Napoleon at all stages of the game. And he did start with a better economic opening, and went from there. And then set number 2 is going to be on Circuit Breakers. So Napoleon has opted to play on Circuit Breaker, so let's see what we get here. In the bottom right-hand corner, down 1 game, we have DST's Napoleon. And in the top right-hand corner, as the White Terran, we have Neblime. Alright, so let's see what the game plan for both of these guys is going to be here. Will we see a variation? Of course, we see the depots going up for both players. And a barracks here from Neblime and a barracks from Napoleon, both putting their barracks rather far forward, so that's good. And of course the gas coming up. Actually, no, never mind. Neblime is going to go for his CC first again. He's on a different kick than he was the previous week, so switching it up a bit. Command center goes down. Now last time, wait, what the hell? Oh, it's repair. Yeah, last time Napoleon was able to do a hell of a lot with his harass, but not so much this time. And, oh, wow, okay. So Napoleon is going to bring the rage. Napoleon's like, I got beat. I got beat. I got to go. I'm going to bring the two-fact. I'm going to bring the two-fact pain. So grabbing that add-on here. And the first factory from Neblime. Let's see if Neblime goes for two factories. That's how I'm used to seeing it, certainly from a PvT standpoint, TVP standpoint. I don't know as much how it's played out against in this one, but he's going to go for vultures with speed. So again, the run-by idea. But Neblime looks to be in pretty good blocking position. And it looks like he's going to chase the barracks away for the moment. And he's going to grab that second factory pretty fast. And oh, what a scout from Neblime. Gets in, is able to see what's going on here. You can see the eBay being placed here at the bottom. So, like, this is kind of a wall, but this wall is sort of more okay because these are, like, floating buildings. It's not a wall with, like, depot walls and bunkers. So it's a, is it a tight wall? It is a tight wall. Okay, so tight wall. We'll be able to pick off SCVs building the eBay, but there's no starport follow-up. So the defense so far is fine here for Napoleon. And Neblime, the defense is fine for Neblime. Napoleon throws down his command center. I casted some T2s doing gas lift expand. Yeah, it's all of a sudden it's the rage for Neblime. And a whole bunch of vultures just keeping that wall in here as he waits for his first tank. He's got his first tank. He's going to slide a Wraith in there. He's getting an armory of his own. This time, much faster armor from Napoleon. Doesn't want a repeat of last game. And also a starport. So, economically, the position for Neblime is very powerful right now. He's just going to be way ahead. Napoleon's supply is very high, primarily because he's been making vultures. But he does appear like he's going to be prepared for this Wraith. He has started making a few Goliaths in his factories. So the Wraith can show up, might get an SCV kill or two, but not much beyond that. Alright, so poking away at that SCV. Will we get a kill down here? Nope. Gonna get chased away. Needed 3 more shots. That's a few too many to get. And what do we have? Do we have? Okay, that's just a floating barracks. And an attempt at setting up some sort of map position. But pretty big tank advantage right now for Neblime. And is that a second Wraith? Yeah, second Wraith is out. Are we going to make more? Okay, so he's going to stick with the Wraith theme for a while, which means this army here is very vulnerable. Although we did see Napoleon getting a Wraith of his own as well. Now, yeah, okay, so again, Neblime jumps on the upgrades, and again, Napoleon does not. But last time, Napoleon really waited forever to get upgrades. We'll see if that's a little different this game. Napoleon trying to set up here and use this high ground. Tanks coming up for Neblime. Does he have siege? Probably. But maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, shit. Oh. That's a bit iffy. That's a bit iffy. These two tanks are sieging up. The others are staying unsieged. Let's see how the vultures try to handle this. Oh, the Wraiths are just going to come here and clear out the tank. Not bad, but the mine back. And now the vultures want more from these tanks, trying to run in here. It looks like one of these tanks will probably fall to siege tank fire of its friend. Nope, actually they all stay alive. Could probably do some repair on that and breaks that up. So that goes all right for Neblime. So now Neblime is at a very comfortable advantage. He's going up to 4 factories. Napoleon is stuck on just 2. Napoleon has not done anything with that upgrade yet, whereas Neblime already has his +1 almost done. He's starting a science facility. He's intending to go into very fast +2. So we are going to see a repeat of the last game, where Neblime just gets massively ahead in upgrades. And has better units. I would kind of like to see a repair on some of these wounded tanks this early on. But now Neblime just hunting for position on the map. He needs to siege, though. Napoleon trying to feel out, and there we go. Neblime does siege. The Wraith see something. But there are Goliaths there, so they will chase the Wraith away. And the Wraith had not been repaired, so it was pretty low on health. So it does fall rather easily to that Goliath. And there's a mine there, so Neblime is going to make a CC just off the mine and establish initial mid-map position. Has those 4 facts coming, and it goes straight into that +2. Napoleon again hasn't even started it, so looking at another 2 to 3 minute window coming up where Napoleon is not going to have that +2 upgrade that Neblime is going to have. And Neblime just kind of spacing out his tank line a little bit here, trying to take sort of eventually a suffocating position on down the map. Tank coming over here, clearing out the mines, can land that command center, get access to that 3rd gas. Neblime sieges up a few tanks defensively over at that base, but Napoleon is not playing quite so vulture heavy this game, but he is already on 5 facts, so he actually has a slight factory advantage right now against Neblime, but it's starting to look like Neblime has enough money to roll out that advantage, and Neblime has, well, let's see here, Napoleon's got a lot of units here, and it looks like Napoleon's going to break up this position of Neblime's pretty easily here in the center. Of course, the +2 definitely not done yet, and so the initial tanks for Napoleon doing quite a bit of work, and Neblime is going to need to pull some of his stuff and reposition here, and he's going to get choked out perhaps behind the bridges. He keeps 1 tank out on the map for the moment, which Napoleon just kind of ignores. And we can see that Napoleon doesn't actually want to move all the way to the bridges, which honestly is a bit of a surprise to me. Command center landing here for Neblime. And wait, what? Is he? Oh, he just came back because he saw these 2 vultures. I was like, why did he bring so much army back? Probably brought back a little more army than he had to. Transfer of SCVs headed over here towards the 3rd base for Neblime, which of course is way faster. And it's nice that Napoleon has that position, but remember, there's a pretty big difference. Wow, and upgrade timing. Almost 1 full upgrade difference here. Napoleon not quite as slow to upgrade as last game, but definitely not particularly fast to upgrade. Oh, mine's going off on a few of Napoleon's tanks here. And a few vultures getting caught here. Neblime with 4 or 5 tanks. Oh, he's going maybe a little too far forward with him. Needs to pull back. SCV's trying to get on top of the tanks. Let's see how the target firing is here for Neblime. Decent so far, although these tanks are not quite engaging in the fight, and the target firing is actually not perfect. A few vultures coming out now. I'm going to try to move forward and lay a few mines. Looks like this tank, though, will fall. And a mine gets laid, but the target firing is good enough. And Neblime heading up to 7 facts. Napoleon only just now finishing his command center that Neblime has had for a while. So in spite of these trades, Napoleon's position does look a bit threatening. But Neblime is about to be kicking in that +2 advantage. He's got a few more factories going on right now, and you put those 2 together, and that would definitely be dangerous for Napoleon. And it's not like Neblime has been choked off the map. You know, he's still out, generally on the map. Vulture's running in here to this tank line, but it's a little too solid. Uh-oh. Slightly missed siege tank there. That one will probably die. Oh, actually, no. He gets it to fall. Now that it... Does he have +2? No, not quite. We can see that the vultures are going to swing around here, and this is possibly enough vultures to threaten these 2 tanks, depending on how the mines go down. Oh, that tank was low on health, I think. Maybe, or maybe just vultures just kill tanks that fast, but it's going to force some defending vultures to come over here, helping with the siege tank, and there's all of a sudden 2 siege tanks now sieging up, but mines are being laid. Let's see how good they are. There's also a Goliath to soak the mines, but he gets a lot of fire down on these tanks here, and trying to walk on top of this tank. Good move there. But the vulture here is going to get the mines needed to clean up this tank, and it's going to force a few more units from Neblime to kind of come on across the map so dangerously close to these minefields. Blows up 1 tank, but he doesn't get over here. He's going to clean out the rest of this, and now Napoleon is moving up with the rest of the units, but he's at that time now where it's 2-1 versus 1-0. Oh, and he doesn't start his upgrade. Napoleon! Is there a science facility? Is that why it hasn't? Oh, man. Okay. So Napoleon's going to be stuck again for ages and ages and ages playing against Neblime's heavily advantaged tanks. And Neblime taking some fairly back siege positions here, but he's just obviously got much, much better economy. Napoleon is only just now starting 4th base, and of course there's already a 3rd gas, so it'll soon be a 4th gas for Napoleon, which is obviously a hell of a lot. Combine it with that upgrade, and things are looking perhaps a bit rough for Napoleon right now. Although, again, if he loses his map position, things are going to look really rough. That's kind of his one saving grace right now, as he has this really nice map position. And what do we have over here? A few vultures trying to sneak over. Looks like they only got a couple of SCV kills because the Maynard had largely not arrived, and then Napoleon will come over and clean that up. Has a few vultures of his own in positioning. Oh, and okay, Neblime moves forward, cleans out. There were like 2 of Napoleon's tanks sitting back down here. So Neblime looking to move forward and clean out that position here now, and then press his advantage here with the +2. A few vultures getting caught off, and you see Napoleon sieging up. And how far does Neblime want to push this? Looks like the answer is fairly far, basically right to the bridge. A lot of vultures in here, and now they can just get on the top of these tanks and lay some mines. And it looks like the mines are almost good enough, but not quite good enough to clean up every single tank. He could move this vulture forward, but not quite. And then Neblime is just going to continue to inch that forward just a bit, and Napoleon can only just ever so slightly get out over his bridges. And yikes, the mine's going off, picking off another tank. And now it looks like perhaps Neblime wanted to focus on this set of tanks over here, but then decides, okay, maybe not, I'm not quite ready to face that yet. But the supply is starting to get rather far ahead here for Neblime. Of course, you can see this base, and Napoleon wants to expand a little bit. He's getting up a few more factories. He's getting his production rolling. Neblime is working off 4-shop tanks here. He's got plenty of gas for that with his 4 bases. He's getting ready to take a 5th base. Napoleon still no sign of +2 starting, so the huge upgrade advantage from Neblime right now really paying off. And now, are we going to see Neblime try to break off the last of this position? That will isolate just about everything Napoleon has if he goes for this. And indeed, Neblime is going for it, running in here. And Goliath's coming in to take the initial shots. Siege tanks sieging on up here as we move into this position. And he's cleaning up most of it. There's only a few tanks left to go. And Napoleon does have some stuff over here, but he's basically forced back to his bridges. It's not a good place for him to be at all. And that is going to be it for all of these units in the middle. And that means that map control more or less goes overwhelmingly to Neblime at this point. And can focus on just completely choking out Napoleon, and Neblime now incredibly far ahead. No like surprise transitions coming up here for Napoleon. I mean, Napoleon's doing a good job keeping units out on the map running around, but Neblime just causing a little too much trouble. Napoleon's coming down here with some vultures. I don't know if that's wise. There's plenty of tanks there. And we're getting some big transfers here, some small groups here and there across the map, but nothing scary. And it's forcing some tanks to go over here from Napoleon. Now there's the dropship, which is kind of cool, but it looks like a few of these tanks are going to get sieged up on the high ground. Maybe not perfect positioning here. This tank is fighting admirably against these vultures, but eventually the sheer vulture numbers are going to overwhelm. And it looks like Napoleon will temporarily resecure this bottom left position, but if you look at the amount of space that Neblime controls on the map right now, it's just very, very good for him. And of course there's the upgrade issue as well. Still no sign of that upgrade. 3-0 for Neblime, 0 or 1-0 for Napoleon. He got the first upgrade, he ignored the second one. It looks like Napoleon's about to lose his 3rd gas, which is going to be a huge deal. So we're going to have, who's going to siege first? Okay, Neblime a little late to siege, and not really in range. He just pulled his tank back though, so that's nicely done. A few tanks here still helping to hold the bridges. And Neblime is just kind of inching forward, the jaws of death here on Napoleon. Pretty big supply advantage. I mean, Napoleon just doesn't have anything out on the map right now. He's got this one dropship that could be effective. He's going to try to come out across the map, maybe, and break up this position. But look at all these units here that Neblime can have after he attacks over here. And still has a tank left on this high ground. Napoleon trying to build a base over here. And there we go. Napoleon going for the break here. The target firing from these tanks, not the best so far, but does pick off a few. But right on cue, Neblime's forces arriving to here to pick off a few of these tanks, and looks like he's just going to keep moving forward with the Goliath. You know, that 3-0 attack upgrade is pretty significant, and he basically says, no, Napoleon, you can't have this position at all. A few vultures coming in to reinforce, but they shouldn't be doing that, and Napoleon does finally pull his tanks from down below on up, and that will stall the advancement here of Neblime, but too many forward tanks here. It looks like this tank will die rather easily. Again, just two-shotting. And is Napoleon going to try some sort of drop? He's going to try to drop on some of these tanks and like bomb them. All right, here we go. We got a drop coming inbounds. Perhaps